This video is powered by KR Mangalam University. What happens when the world's two most critical maritime choke points are pushed to the brink at the same time? The Strait of Hormuz is already under pressure. Now a new threat is emerging from the Red Sea. Iran's so-called new card may not be nuclear or diplomatic. It might be the only permanent king in geopolitics, and that's geography. I'm Ananya Datta. Let's map this out. Right now, here's where things stand. The 2-week ceasefire deadline that expires on Wednesday has been extended. It is good news, but the reason behind the extension is not clear. The basis comes from US President Donald Trump's latest social media post, where he says, and I'm quoting, "Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal." The response to the ceasefire deadline approaching or Trump extending it has been largely muted from the Iranian side. So I went back to a tweet that the Iranian parliament speaker Mohammad Baghir Ghalibaf put out after the US seized an enemy tanker. The last line says, and I'm quoting from it, "We do not accept negotiations under the shadow of threats. And in the past 2 weeks, we have prepared to reveal new cards on the battlefield." New cards. I asked a professor from the University of Tehran to explain what Ghalibaf is referring to when he says new cards. Here is what he said.
Iran could be closing a strait of this Bab al-Mandeb Strait in Yemen. That's an option that Iran has. Iran's types of ballistic missiles are more extensive than what Iran has used already. So there could be new generation of ballistic missiles that Iran has not used. That's another card. So far, Iran has just responded.
Now, two headlines emerged from what Professor Izadi has said. Iran can shut down the Strait of Bab al-Mandeb in the Red Sea. And so far, Iran has only responded, not escalated. Shutting down Bab al-Mandeb will be a grave escalation, and it could be nothing like we have seen before. Now, Bab al-Mandeb is a 32-kilometer strait that connects the Red Sea to Gulf of Aden and further to the Indian Ocean, as you can see. This is the only entry point to the Red Sea from the Indian Ocean point of view. It's a crucial waterway for global oil trade and other goods. Now, prior to the war, this strait was used to pass 12% of global trade every single day. And since the Strait of Hormuz has been shut with twin blockades, first by Iran and then the US, the importance of Bab al-Mandeb has increased multifold. So what happens if this is also shut? Before we come to that, let's understand how Iran can logistically close this strait off. And the simple answer is because it has done it before. This is a tried and tested strategy, unlike the Strait of Hormuz. Now, you'll remember in the early days of the October 7th attack, which then led to a war in Gaza, Houthi, an Iranian-backed group in Yemen, was quick to join the war. The group is part of Iran's axis of resistance. They weaponized Bab al-Mandeb much like Iran has done to the Strait of Hormuz. And the Houthi had a similar policy: burn down any vessel that either belongs to the US and Israel or any other way propagating the war in Gaza. In May of 2025, the US and the Houthi agreed to a ceasefire, and the Yemeni group has since opened up the Bab al-Mandeb again. But it would need one green signal from Tehran to do the same all over again. Only this time, it will be way worse for the global economy. The Bab al-Mandeb Strait is between Yemen to its northeast and Djibouti and Eritrea in the Horn of Africa to the southwest. But you see, everyone in the Red Sea is dependent on this very strait. Like Saudi Arabia, the world's largest exporter of crude oil, has been using its Yanbu port to export oil since the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. It is also used by other Gulf states to export oil, gas and other fuel to Europe. Like, look at UAE's port of Fujairah. Now, Fujairah, it is beyond the Strait of Hormuz and hence not affected by the blockade. But Fujairah exports more than 1.7 million barrels per day of crude oil, part of which goes to Europe via this very Red Sea and hence via Bab al-Mandeb. Now, in a statement through the state media, the Iranian administration has already said that a ceasefire violation will lead to attacks on Bab al-Mandeb Strait, Saudi Aramco facilities, the port of Yanbu and the city of Fujairah. It's not just the Gulf and oil. You see, about 10% of global trade sails through the Bab al-Mandeb, including containers shipped from China, India and other major Asian countries to Europe. Now, this strait is basically the most efficient and economical route. You see, otherwise, all vessels will have to take a much longer route from the southernmost tip of Africa. Now, if I put this in respect to numbers, if Iran manages to shut Bab al-Mandeb and the Strait of Hormuz, which is already under a siege, that would block 25% or a quarter of the world's oil and gas supply. Up to 30% of global container ships will be affected, and this will mean that trade worth $10 billion a day will be blocked or rerouted.
So the issues of that choke point being closed is that if it connects to other choke points being closed, then that will be quite catastrophic for the whole supply chain. And here come some signals. The Bab al-Mandeb Strait, the access to the Suez Canal, could be easily disrupted by the Houthis if they, let's put it this way, actively takes the Iranian cause.
We should remember the weaponization of straits, be that Hormuz or Bab al-Mandeb, is a byproduct of this war. This issue did not exist prior to 28th of February, when the US and Israel chose to start this war. Now, Trump is famous for saying that US adversaries have no cards. But after the Strait of Hormuz, Bab al-Mandeb could become the most powerful card Iran possesses. And one can hope that this time Trump's advisors have informed him prior. I'm Ananya Datta. Thanks for watching.